Legacy boxing events are dead, and influencer boxing is what killed it. Whether you like it or not, the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight was more than just a disappointment. It was a visual on how traditional pay-per-view boxing has been killed by its successor, influencer boxing. The sport has been around for a long time, with Egyptian artwork suggesting that some form of it has been around since 3000 BC. However, it was a different game back then, considering that they wore leather straps instead of gloves, which I'll admit is pretty aesthetic. Rules-wise, however, the two boxers would go in until one of them could no longer continue. No rounds, no ref, and no weight classes. And it was like that for a long time until new rules were officiated in what's known as the Marquis of Queensberry rules in 1867. Boxing was always a popular sport, but it only got even more popular during the Great Depression due to factors like its overall simplicity and not much gear being needed to participate. Eventually, matches would be broadcasted over the radio and televisions worldwide, turning many fighters into household names. The 1960s saw the rise of Muhammad Ali, arguably the most famous boxer of all time, who in the 1970s had his fight with George Foreman called the Rumble in the Jungle. It was broadcasted in both pay-per-view and movie theaters, and even though I really doubt this, it's claimed that 1 billion people saw it, a quarter of the world's population at the time. In 1976, the highest-grossing movie was an independent film that you've probably heard of called Rocky. Once the 1980s started, boxing was in its full swing, no doubtably because in 1985, Mike Tyson started his boxing career. He was known for knocking people out in the first round and becoming the heavyweight champion of the world the next year at 20 years old, the youngest person to ever do that, by the way. It would be an understatement to say that he was a worldwide phenomenon, even getting to be the final boss in the aptly named Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! But then, boxing started to die down in the 1990s. There were too many different titles and too many different leagues. There weren't enough stars that people were interested in watching.
Yeah, who'd you fight?
Spider Rico.
He's a bum.
All the interesting fights were locked behind a paywall, and to top it all off, all of the big names in the sport didn't actually want to fight each other unless there was a big payout, causing a lot of people to lose interest. Not only that, but the never-ending stream of amateur boxers wanting to fight in the ring almost stopped in the 90s when research into head injuries and overall mental decline were more understood. Believe it or not, but it turns out repeat blows to the head lead to permanent brain damage, and even Rocky Balboa got diagnosed with it.
Because of the continuous violent blows to the head, you've developed a condition particular to boxers called cavum septum folliculum.
Boxing also had its first real competition show up in 1993, that being the UFC, which immediately started eating into boxing's audience, and more importantly, profits. That would all change, however, in 2017 when the YouTubers Joe Weller and Theo Baker posted a boxing match that they had had, and only a year later, Joe Weller would fight KSI in an actual ring with an actual audience. After winning the fight, KSI said that he actually wanted to fight the Paul brothers.
Wow. Obviously, man's got this belt right now. If any YouTuber wants it, you can come get it. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, I don't care. Bring it. Same. Yo, if any celebrity wants it, yo, where's Rio? Where's Rio Ferdinand? If Rio wants it, I know you're doing your Betfair thing. If you want some, bro, I'm ready, yo.
All of a sudden, there was a new kind of boxing that people started to get into. You weren't watching two professionals who had been training for years. You were watching two relatively normal people fight each other. Now, let me say this. You would have to be absolutely out of your mind to say that professional boxing was better than seeing the plump pimp fight Boogie, where the match had to be stopped because Boogie's shorts kept falling down. Boogie also being the proud owner of a foil Audentum Lolcow TCG card. Seriously, look at that smile, and you can get yourself one by clicking on my affiliate link in the description. Well, in 2021, the first of what I would consider a real influencer boxing event, Social Gloves, YouTubers vs TikTokers, would happen. This event would have big names from YouTube and of course TikTok battling it out throughout 7 matches. And because of this, someone that seems to find his way in half of my videos would get involved. That person being Keemstar, who would be one of the promoters for the event, along with the YouTube boxer, Fousey. Yes, I am well aware that I made a poll on doing a Fousey video prior to this where the answer was an overwhelming no, but this isn't a Fousey video, he just happens to be in it. With more of these fights happening as time went on, Keemstar, looking to branch out from just doing Drama Alert, teamed up with fellow YouTuber and boxer FouseyTube to make a boxing promotion called Happy Punch. Fousey would end up getting kicked from it for not doing any work. Both Keem and Fousey would tell their sides of the story publicly.
If I hit that wrong button one more fucking time, I'm about to crash out like Fousey and throw this shit up against the wall.
Fousey's a fucking nutcase who has severe anger issues, has severe mental health issues, and tends to go in this like cyclical version of narcissism where he's up, then he's down, then he's up, then he's down. And then when he's up, he's top of the world. He sucks people in. When he's down, he beats the out of people. That's what I figured out. Is that close?
You know, I was really into influencer boxing, always has been. And Austin McBroom had an event, YouTubers versus TikTokers. It's like one of the biggest and best influencer boxing events there was. Now, I was the person on the mic reading all the stuff or whatever, and they gave me this big, long script. I'm like, oh my God, do not make me read all this stuff. Fousey was desperately trying to get in the game. So I told Fousey, I go, Fousey, you're going to do this press conference with me and you're going to do the reading stuff and I'm just going to talk on the mic. Okay, deal.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the biggest social media event of the year, the Social Gloves Battle of the Platforms. We're here at Freg Siegel in Hollywood. Tana Mojo, how you doing? Yo, I heard you've been calling out Bella Thorne. Hey, by the way, I slid into your DM so many times, but you dodged me. That's dirty. Anyways, this live event will be on Saturday, June 12th. Now I'm going to pass it on to the host of the evening, Killer Keemstar.
Fousey, I am so excited. You excited for this?
I'm happy that I'm done with the script, so now I can be myself. Hi, guys.
So me and Fousey did that event together and we crushed it. And then after that, Fousey was like, hey, we should start an influencer boxing news company. I was like, okay, so me and him launched Happy Punch together. All right.
So I come up with an idea. Happy Punch Promotion.
Did you come up with the name?
Me and Keem were doing it collectively, but yes, if I look back, I think I came up with the name.
Okay.
We both did an event together and we killed it.
So we launched Happy Punch together. Fousey quickly became in depression or whatever the fuck it was. And he didn't do anything for my fucking company. Like literally nothing. I had to do all the work and he was gone for like weeks at a time, months at a time. He literally did nothing for Happy Punch.
I was busy for a lot of things and Keem allowed me to be busy, right? But I'm still 50% co-owner, 50% shareholder.
Still today?
No, 50% everything. I ended up, there was one time I had to go to rehab for something, so I had to leave that time. And then when I come back, it's time, I go to rehab for the Bryce Hall incident. Yeah. I get out of that. I then spend time on my sobriety. I don't have time to be focused on internet. I'm just focused on my health. Then I signed the Deji fight. Obviously, when you're in a fight, you don't have time to work, do anything. Your life 24/7, eat, sleep, breathe is boxing.
Training.
Even if I lost, it's boxing. And I put my due diligence and worked every day. So I didn't have time to do Happy Punch, obviously. Why would I be expected to, you know? I fucking, like, I'm going to put the team on. I'm going to be wearing Happy Punch on my clothes. I'm going to walk out representing Happy Punch. And if I get this win, our stocks go up. And he knew that. He would text me all the time. You have to win. I don't expect you to work. You have to win. You have to win, right? I lose. I come home. I have my nose broken. I have to do a nose surgery. I'm recovering. The landlord of the unit I was living in sold the unit, kicked me out, had 7 days to go out, signed a new lease, moved all my stuff in boxes into my new home. Still vulnerable from my surgery. Hadn't had a single second to rest. My ex-girlfriend found out she was fucking this other dude while she was fucking me.
Tough.
Went through that breakup. Still dealing it with her, going to therapy about her. Depression started. I went from being 5% body fat, I don't know how much I was, to now for the first time in a year, started eating sugar again. Every single night, crumble cookies, ice cream, candy. So in 30 days that I spent recovering, I lost my body. I didn't even lose it by a lot. I probably went from 5% to like 12%. I don't know. But that little discrepancy fucked me up mentally. I stopped going to the gym, stopped being healthy. So I started slipping. I was basically holding onto the roof, but I hadn't fallen off yet.
So I had to buy out his shares. So he got fucking 6 figures from me for doing nothing.
He didn't give a fuck about me for so many years. Now he's my best friend. That's fucked up. Something was wrong with me. So I tell them I don't want to be in Happy Punch. We call Keem, we call John. Yusuf wants out. So then I don't want to do the thing. The lawyer calls Keem and John and goes, Yusuf's out. Keem goes, are you fucking sure? If you're out, you're out, but I need you to be sure. I say yes. The next morning, I woke up with regret. I call Keem back and John and my lawyer. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm going to do everything in my power to work hard and make you happy, Keem. I'm going to make you so proud. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to be Fousey Tube. I'm going to be Dana Tube. He then says, great, get in your car, go straight to the Austin McBroom face-off with a Nissan Gib, record it, get a video up ASAP, and do an interview with Slim. I rush with a broken nose, still taped, not even healed. I go, I was supposed to do a face-off with a Nissan Gib in Austin. They go, a Nissan Gib goes, Yusuf, I'm focusing on my fight. I'm not about to do a face-off right now. The fight's tomorrow. I'm sorry. I already told Keem. So I go outside and interview Austin on his own. Post it. I go home. My mom's sitting with me. No cameraman, no editor, no nothing. I record this Slim interview. I'm miserable. I hate it. Imagine doing this podcast, but you hate it. You feel like a sellout. You're unhappy.
Why were you feeling that way then?
I needed time to myself. I wasn't ready. I was not ready. I hated it. My mom saw me afterwards. I started crying. She said, Yusuf, you got to leave Happy Punch. I call back and I go, I want to leave Happy Punch. They go, fine. We've made, I think at the time when I left, we've made $100,000 up to this point. We're going to give you that $100,000 and we're going to give you 5% co-owner rights forever because you're a co-founder. They wired the $100,000. It went away. Obviously, I had so much that I had to pay for, so much. Even the lawyer fees to fix this was disgusting. So I lost all that anyways.
And then after I bought out his shares, he then launched G7 and tried to steal all my fighters and like attacked me, accused me of making Dollar in the Woods about his dead dog, which his name was Dollar. But but the song came out like a year before his dog Dollar even died. So there's been this feud brewing, right?
He should have been canceled years ago. You can't cancel him. He's like Voldemort.
As far as you and Happy Punch, I never wanted you to leave Happy Punch. I begged you not to leave. That was your decision. You
gave me one choice. You gave me one choice. I do the content or I'm out. Keem, why can't I be 50% shareholder like you and do behind the scenes? Why can't I manage Dean? Why can't I manage Sal Poppy? Why can't I fly out and take care of them? Because I do that, Fousey. I need you to be the content. The Happy Punch makes $0.
Yeah, but you're summing up an entire year with one conversation. That conversation is close to the truth. It's close to the truth, but it's not exactly the fucking truth, right? That is close to the truth, but that's at the end after I've already had patience, after I already had so many broken promises from you of you're going to do this and you're going to do that, and then you don't do anything. Or you just ghost for a week.
I said that on the podcast. I said that on the podcast, dog.
I know, but when you tell the story at the end where Fousey has already up 10,000 times and Keemstar is at his wit's end, like, and given an ultimatum, but you just tell the ultimatum and that's not the full story. You take no accountability for you fucking slacking and not doing and fucking screwing me over as a friend and business partner.
Fast forward to early 2022, and Idubbz would announce his own boxing tournament, called Creator Clash, with the main fight being himself with someone else known as Dr. Mike. The other big fight, at least in my opinion, being Harley from Epic Mealtime versus Ego Raptor, or Aaron Hansen for people that didn't get to experience the old internet. There wasn't really anything special about the Creator Clash, it was just a bunch of YouTubers that boxed each other, which is pretty par for the course when it comes to a boxing event. However, behind the scenes, something was happening that changed influencer boxing going forward. Prior to the Creator Clash, Idubbz planned to make a documentary on the comedian called Sam Hyde.
but then I get a little sugar in me and I start to go cuckoo.
Knowing that this documentary was in no way going to be done in good faith towards him, Sam thought it would be funnier to gaslight Idubbz.
It was his documentary, but by the end of it, it was like our documentary.
Joey, can you open up the Idubbz gaslighting document? we came up with a lot of funny ideas to like pull tricks. Like I hired this crackhead girl to pretend to be my girlfriend.
Anemic? Yeah, a little bit. We look alike though. Kind of weird.
Okay, I think I get what you were saying.
No comment. Stuff to buy. Lots of alcohol, a bunch of Pokemon cards. Try to tell them what Pokemon is as if it's some new thing like crypto. Buy parakeets from Petco.
Think it, dream it, do it. We get a chant going. Think it, dream it, do it. 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 All right, good. That's it.
Keep doing wrestling, but say it's boxing. Yo, bro, I'm boxing you right now. This is the other kind of f***ed up thing is that he's doing like YouTube boxing now, and I planted this seed in his head.
Sam Hyde not only trained Idubbz in 2021 during the documentary's filming, but he also trained Harley of Epic Mealtime for it as well.
You're doing the Idubbz fight.
Yeah.
And you've conscripted Sam Hyde to get you in punching form. So what is your full plan leading up to it?
I'll give you guys like the whole thing, how it even got here to begin with.
Definitely.
Idubbz, I don't have like a savage killer instinct in me. I'm not Kyle, you know what I mean? I don't have that. So when Idubbz like, oh, do you want to, who wants to box? I was like, me. And he was like, oh, great. But I didn't think he would ever find someone to box me because I'm 6'5", like 290.
So is your first day of real training tomorrow then?
This is Sam Hyde. Remember, it's Sam Hyde.
It might be any minute, huh?
It's literally the second I'm done here, I have a mysterious address that on Google Maps looks like a parking lot. And I'm going to meet him there. And I'm like, it'll be about midnight. He's like, that's okay. And I'm like, great. I'm like that too. So I'm like, okay. So I gave the keys of my life to maybe one of the only guys on the internet that makes me feel nervous. That guy. I gave him the keys to my life, and he blocked off the next 2 weeks of his life, and he's got a fucking bonkers life. I don't even know what's happening there, but content is always getting uploaded and it's always happening on his social media. So I'm going to he's going to have, you know, his weeks blocked off, and I'm going to go there, and I'm just like, no ego. I don't care. Like I do make a good student. I knew what it takes to be a teacher, so I know how to be a student as well. No ego. I'm willing to learn. It was very difficult saying to my boxing coach, a pro boxing coach, I'm like, oh, I'm leaving to do a fight camp. He's like, oh, with who? And I'm like, oh, the ghost of Kiev.
Sam was actually going to go to the event as a spectator to support Harley, except Idubbz banned him from it the day before the event, after Sam had already bought 5 tickets.
I didn't realize at any point that I was going to be fucking blacklisted from a charity event, that I got 5 front row tickets. It was $10,000, and it's for charity. And supposedly I'm going to be refunded this money. So I guess he wants me not around badly enough that it's worth taking away $10,000 from charity. Like deep down, I want him to be uncucked. I want him to get the tattoos lasered off, get a normal haircut, get rid of Yoko Ono, because that's poisonous. That relationship is poisonous. She's like his entertainment handler. Like she's his fucking career manager now or something. She's got to go, man. She's gonna ruin his life. I guarantee it. Mark my words. Mark my words. That woman is gonna ruin his life.
Yoko Ono? Who could that be that Sam Hyde was referring to? What kind of crazy person could he be talking about that ruined Idubbz's life?
Hee-haw! Hee-haw! You see that?
Meet Anissa Joma. otherwise known as Idubbz's wife, and the inspiration for his podcast's name, aptly called She Ruined My Career. Sam might not have been able to go to the Creator Clash, but somebody else saw Sam and wanted this upcoming star at his event's Misfits Boxing. That man was Keemstar. However, Sam would sign up not under his real name, but instead as the Candyman.
I'm very excited to speak to you after your signing with Happy Punch Promotions. I want to know, first off, when did you first get in touch with Keem and decide, I want to pursue this boxing thing?
Man, we go way back. He basically saw me boxing on the streets of South Boston. And he said, who the is this Irish fighting Candyman? Who the is this Irish fighting Candyman legend? Who can take a licorice stick and make it taste like pumpkin? The Candyman can. That's what I said to him. That's exactly what I said to him. And next thing I know, I'm signed to Happy Punch Promotions, ready to get psychotic, ready to inflict pain.
How does it feel to you when Idubbz says you're too dangerous for the event? He doesn't want you on there.
Oh, don't get me started on Mr. Idubbz. Ooh, the Candyman's got a special surprise for Mr. Idubbz, Mr. Ian. Ooh, I'm thinking maybe I'll twist him up into a chocolate-coated pretzel. Ooh, you're getting me started talking about Mr. Idubbz. I inspired Idubbz. I taught him my candy style. I showed him what it meant to do battle as a man. He goes and creates a boxing promotion, doesn't invite his best friend? That!
Misfits Boxing was founded by KSI, and this time it had more people that I knew about, including Andy Worski of the Keno Casino, who was previously robbed of a fight when his opponent Tonkasaw backed out.
Where you at? I flew from Canada. He lives in Alabama, one state away. Low T Tonka.
Andy Worski versus Salt Poppy. Andy, we'll start with you. You're representing Canada in this fight.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, man. You're the only person on stage representing Canada. I want to hear more about not only being in this event, but what it means to represent your country here.
Nah, screw Canada. I'm gonna bend you over, Salt Poppy, and no one will fucking stop me. You understand me? I'm the underdog, bro. You don't even know what you stepped into, bro.
And, of course, Fousey, who has become a recent fascination of mine.
Now, Fousey, we'll start with you. It's been 3 years since you've been in this ring, and this is your return to the crossover boxing scene. I want to ask you just your feelings, your mindset, stepping in there now for the first time in a while.
First of all, I want to let everybody know that for the last 11 years, you've known me as Fousey. My name is Yusuf Arakat. That's my birth name, and that's what I go by. I'd like to thank God for this opportunity. I'd like to thank Happy Punch and my partner Keemstar. Happy for all the Happy Punch fighters on this stage tonight and gonna be on the stage Saturday night. And thank you for Misfits Boxing, JJ and Mams for this opportunity. 3 years ago, I went into the ring with an ego. I thought because I had 10 million subscribers, that means I must be good at boxing because people made me feel like I was a star. I got humbled. I got humbled in a very bad way.
Honestly, the Fousey fight was okay, and I'm not even going to comment on the Worski one. But then came the one that I personally saw as the main event. Sam Hyde versus James Thompson.
I don't actually know how to describe your training methods, how to describe much about the way you prepare for this fight, other than to say you're a man ready. Talk to me about this fight, Sam, and what you're going to do to this man on Saturday night.
Oh, aye, Donnig. Have you heard much Irish folklore?
I haven't heard a lot, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
When you were a wee lad growing up in Ireland, and you looked out and you saw the green grass and the blue sky, did they ever teach you any of the old songs from the old days?
They didn't, but go ahead and teach me one.
I'd love to hear one.
Well, I was going to anyway. It's called The Death of Dull Rye. It goes like this. I told you once, I told you twice. The Candyman, he don't play nice. Men from Ireland, we don't back down. We'll turn your smile into a frown. Jump for joy, and come, my friends, to the pot of gold at Rainbow's End. True Irish remember the tale of William Wallace, the first alpha male. His ghost of the Isle fights by my side. It is to him to whom I confide. Tee-hee-hee, the Candyman sees. It's font small. All possible futures that now could be. Sugar me biscuits dollop the eyes. Candyman speaketh with buttered up pride. Caramel gloves cut through skin of lies. When Candyman sweeten the death of Dolrai.
Did you get that? Wait.
That's
Can you translate for me, Wade, please? I don't think I can translate that one for you, but I assume that was a message of fear, intimidation, and he's bringing it on Saturday. And regardless of that story,
I mean, all I know is like when you have two big guys on stage, it's a fun fucking time.
Funny enough, it wasn't the fight that was the most memorable part of the event, but instead what happened following Sam's victory. One of the most memeable moments of all time. And I'm still quoting it to this day.
You got anyone you want to call out in the heavyweight division?
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker. I'm coming to kill you.
Or in the ring?
No, in real life. I'm going to stalk him and become obsessed with him and wear his makeup and his dresses and use his skin as a coat like the ancient Irish did.
Sam Hyde was able to get normal people who had no interest in sports to start watching boxing, but Keemstar was able to envision a match that was larger than life.
Lit up like a 4th, I'm a happy drunk. Come to pop a big mama, cause your daddy's drunk. I'm gonna pump it up like a Goodyear blimp. Make you holler for $1, that's the way I live.
Or wait, maybe that's not Chase.
No, Chase is bad. Someone else.
Yeah, he's got a mustache on. That can't be him.
Boogie and Wings went into the ring, and Boogie couldn't even get a hit in because his shorts kept falling down like he was King Hippo in Punch-Out. He said that his goal was to clip Wings's, well, wings, but it didn't matter because consequences have actions, and Wingo won, forever cementing his dominance going forward on LolCow Live.
You sound like a 3-year-old. I don't know, I guess. I don't get my way. Be a man, dude.
Of course, however, Boogie still found a way to make it out to be a win in his mind.
As embarrassing as it was for my pants to come down, and as embarrassing as it was for me to perform like that in the ring, I'm not that embarrassed, and I'll tell you why. Because I had the strength to get up and out of my wheelchair and get to London and get through those airports and walk around London and do all the things I had to do to get ready for this fight, including the doctor's visits and the medicals, and pass all of that stuff as a morbidly obese man who's 48, step into the ring, take that beating, walk out of that ring, walk back to my hotel, walk through airports to get on a plane back home and be back home 36 hours later, filming this video for you. I could be embarrassed about everything, or I can choose to focus on the positive, and I'm definitely choosing to focus on the positive.
This was also the biggest fight in the influencer boxing space for a while, at least since Sam Hyde in my opinion, and that's actually a shame, because there was another creator clash earlier that year back on April 15th, creatively named Creator Clash 2. It had multiple returning fighters, but were the first sold-out 10,000 tickets to the event, and had 100,000 people watching its pay-per-view, raising $1.3 million for charity. Creator Clash 2, on the other hand, only had 50,000 pay-per-view sales, and suffered a $250,000 loss instead. While it's impossible to say for certain what it was that caused this event to flounder when compared to the first, what we do know is that it was most likely Idubbz and Yoko Ono's egos. When Creator Clash 2 was announced, the rapper Froggy Fresh was supposed to be one of the fighters, and he would be facing off against Chris Raygun, but that never ended up happening because Froggy Fresh would be unjustly kicked off the roster on March 26th. Remember, he had been training for this for months, only to be kicked out a couple of weeks prior to the actual event. There has been a change in the lineup, and Froggy Fresh will no longer be fighting against Chris Raygun. We will announce his replacement in the coming days. With just 3 weeks left, the countdown to Creator Clash 2 has begun. Creator Clash's goal is to make an inclusive and fun environment for creators and fans while giving back to charity. That has always been our mission, and Froggy Fresh's recent behavior does not align with that mission. We look forward to sharing this positive experience on April 15th. Froggy Fresh's recent behavior does not align with that mission? What does that even mean? This actual injustice was talked about by many big names at the time that were uninvolved in Creator Clash 2, such as Philip DeFranco.
So you had the highly anticipated Creator Clash 2 just around the corner, a few weeks away. But all of a sudden, it was announced that someone was dropped from the card, with Creator Clash announcing on Saturday. There's been a change in the lineup, and Froggy Fresh will no longer be fighting against Chris Raygun. We will announce his replacement in the coming days. With just 3 weeks left, the countdown to Creator Clash 2 has begun. And adding, Creator Clash's goal is to make an inclusive and fun event for creators and fans while giving back to charity. That has always been our mission, and Froggy Fresh's recent behavior does not align with that mission. We look forward to sharing this positive experience on April 15. So what happened, and why did that announcement get ratioed to hell? And while looking into this, it appears that it could be several things, but it appears to be this main one, and that's on or around March 24th, Froggy Fresh puts out a video where he's kind of just talking to Chris Ray Gun. Seems like a kind of standard, let's talk to each other, get people hyped up to see us fight sort of thing. But then randomly at the end of that video, someone else catches a stray.
April 15th. If I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to Anissa's OnlyFans.
So Anissa and Idubbz, they're married, they're the ones putting on Creator Clash, and Anissa has also received a lot of shaming due to her having an OnlyFans. So then we see an account that appears to be Anissa's mom stepping in, and they get into a fight. At one point saying he wouldn't have the fight if not for her, as well as another tweet where she says she hopes the imp is replaced, with Froggy Fresh quote tweeting those tweets saying, "Maureen, Idubbz hit me up to beat up your daughter's boyfriend, as well as better an imp than a pimp. Shout out your boy Idubbz. Anissa, come get your mom." You also have Froggy uploading videos at this time, but the next thing we see is that he gets dropped. And the massive and big reaction on Twitter is that people were not happy that he was removed from the card, with one of the most liked reactions coming from Moist Critical, who tweeted,
"I'm really disappointed by this. Kicking him for Twitter controversy after months of trading is brutal. I don't think any jokes he made were intended to be mean-spirited or on anyone. Hopefully they reconsider this decision." Keem would end up covering it throughout 2 different Twitter spaces. However, we're going to treat them as if it was one through highlights.
I think they're trying to get the money that they sent Froggy for training. They sent him $15,000. I think they're trying to get that back.
Oh no!
Hold up.
No,
I didn't get money.
Harley, I heard a rumor that they're
Damn,
like,
they didn't give you
threatening to
money.
sue. I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. I heard a rumor that they're threatening to sue Froggy Fresh. So I don't think it's
Bro, that would be a fucking game changer. What the?
You could try to keep saying like, oh well, you shouldn't say something about this person's wife, or oh, you shouldn't like, or like you can't believe that he would want him off the card. This is like Anissa Jamha's ego blowing up a charity event. That's what's happening here.
Thank you.
Sam, are you so?
That's how I see it. Froggy Fresh was announced to be fighting Chris Ray Gun this year, which was really exciting for all of us like hardcore YouTubers who's been in the game for a while. We all know Froggy Fresh. We're all fans of Froggy Fresh. Exciting stuff. Now, obviously, most of you know this, but for some of you that don't, there was a bit of a beef between Sam Hyde and Idubbz. They had those documentaries on each other back and forth about 2 years ago now. And on the first Creator Clash, Sam Hyde trained Harley, who was in that event. And Sam Hyde actually got banned from Creator Clash. So it was very clear that Idubbz was holding a grudge against Sam Hyde to the point where he was banning him from the event. Froggy Fresh made a joke that if he lost the match or something, he would sub to Anissa's OnlyFans. Very lighthearted joke. The inside scoop of that joke is basically his opponent, Chris Ray Gun, and Anissa had a podcast together, and everyone has always made this meme that the two of them were dating. So that was the background and the context of that joke. They're getting demolished, and they knew they were going to get hate at the very beginning because they turned replies off when they made the initial statement that Froggy Fresh was off. 2 or 3 tweets in reference to the statement. One was about the call with Idubbz. Can you talk about that?
Honestly, you can even bring Harley on because I know they sent Harley to come fight for him. So like, let Harley talk too, and then I can talk about whatever.
And then also you put out a tweet that they're threatening a lawsuit. So that's out there as well, which is, I mean, how much more overkill can you get? But I guess we'll bring Harley on to see what he has to say. Harley, you there?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on
that?
Real quick, no one sent me here to fight. I would never go and fight someone else's beef. So no, Anissa and Idubbz probably rather that I not be here. Froggy. So no, I never got sent to go fight someone else's fight.
Okay. Anyhow, I'm shocked. You said don't act shocked. I'm shocked. I think the internet is shocked when, you know, these jokes, and we've seen these jokes and these tweets be made, and the reaction was to kick him off the card because we're talking about Idubbz, like the YouTuber Idubbz, and his wife, a Twitch streamer, Anissa, like they're public figures. Anyhow, can we talk about the lawsuit stuff? Because Sam was asked about the lawsuit. I asked about the lawsuit, and then Harley responded and said they're not suing. So it's confusing because I want Froggy to answer that question.
He just can't talk about Creator Clash if they paid him money. If he wants to keep the money, don't talk about Creator Clash. Just kind of like shut up and start training for your
Wait, I just asked him to answer. Are you trying to scare him?
I have to train for a fight. Bye.
All right, now you guys want me to address this stuff now?
Yes, please.
Jesus Christ, dude. How's he gonna make like 6 points and I'm just sitting there waiting for him to get done talking? My God. So now he don't even want to be here to defend himself because now I gotta read the tweet.
Hey, Froggy, he said his piece and now he said peace.
Bro.
But honestly, I don't like seeing Froggy Fresh get stepped on because he's a for real, like very good dude, and he's there's nothing like weird or duplicitous about this kid.
Froggy, were you actually threatened with a lawsuit?
Yes, this is what their offer was. They wanted me to pay back the $15,000 that they sent me over the last 5 months for training, travel equipment, and stuff like that, and also like a vow of silence on the situation. And if I signed that, they would drop any potential to sue for what they believe are damages that the event has incurred. So in other words, like, we're not going to sue you if you pay back the 15 grand and you shut up about it. But like, if you don't sign this, then we can pursue to sue you based on damages that I brought to the event.
Okay.
I'm not kidding when I say that the Froggy Fresh situation was more talked about than the entire Creator Clash 2 event itself. Idubbz lost his fight and lost $250,000 that were supposed to go to charity.
I feel terrible. This year has been a rough one, but this is the path that I chose, so I think it's best to be transparent. For Creator Clash 2, despite it being a fun event and despite good fights and a lot of creators sacrificing a lot of time, money, and energy, we lost $250,000 on the event. The way that this typically works for anyone who's unaware is that once our expenses are paid off for the event, like all the minimums of broadcasting, the hotel, travel, all that sort of stuff, once that's all paid off, then we can start paying the charities. Unfortunately, we didn't even reach the break-even point, right? We're $250,000 in the red.
Idubbz was seemingly more concerned with keeping Sam Hyde out of the building than he was with actually running the event. And I'm not joking, this group of people were banned from entering the event because one of them could have been Sam Hyde in disguise.
So the Garfield crew outside of Creator Clash apparently got banned from entering, right? All you guys are not allowed in?
No, we're not.
And what was the reason they gave you?
No face masks, but apparently it's not in like the Emily Arena rules or anything, so.
Do you think it was a last-minute decision to ban face masks?
It was, literally. The head of security told us that they have a different policy than Emily Arena's policy, but it was not posted on their website.
So what do you think the reason is for the last-minute change in policy regarding face masks?
One guy said that he suspects it could be due to Sam Hyde. It's been going around Twitter that there was some leaked plan for them to sneak Sam Hyde in.
Who's Sam Hyde?
Sam Hyde was a YouTube personality that Idubbz interviewed on a documentary a couple years ago, and they just kind of have a contentious relationship.
Yeah.
It's like schizophrenic levels of paranoia.
No, I think it's hilarious. Sam's like 6'5", 280 pounds. He's not going to sneak in a morph suit like as a little 5'2" twink. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
And you know what? At the end of the day, Idubbz admitted that Froggy Fresh was kicked out for collaborating with Sam Hyde. His ego meant more to him than the charities he was supposedly doing this for.
And the focus is kicking Froggy Fresh from the Creator Clash card. The main reason Froggy was kicked from the card was for collaborating with Sam Hyde. And, for anyone who's been following the story, that's, fairly obvious.
Things may have been slowing down when it came to influencer boxing, but regular boxing had been on life support for decades by this point, so it was still doing pretty good in comparison. But then, two worlds were about to collide. Mike Tyson, arguably the biggest name in legacy boxing, and Jake Paul, the biggest name in influencing boxing at the time, would face off in the ring through a collaboration with Netflix and Most Valuable Promotions. One of the biggest reasons why people were so interested in this match was the age difference between Mike and Jake, that being a difference of 31 years. Mike was still training for this fight, and no one in their right mind could say he wasn't taking it seriously. But many onlookers saw this not so much as a sports event, but more of a spectacle. Even big names in the fighting industry like Joe Rogan would go public saying they didn't want to see Mike Tyson get hurt.
I really hope he doesn't knock Mike Tyson out.
To me,
I'll just be real bummed out to see Mike get KO'd at 58 years old.
And I don't need to tell you what happened after that. Mike Tyson had a monumental defeat. Something that had people come out of the woodwork that were saying they hoped he was going to win to admit that the odds were stacked against him.
You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
I love that dude.
And that's not even getting into the allegations that Mike threw the fight so that way he would get a bigger payout. Something that even Rocky himself saying Mike gave an Oscar-winning performance. Just to set my personal record straight, business is business. Sometimes you have to do the hard things and sacrifice for the sake of helping your family. I have known this unbelievable athlete since he's 19 years old. And what we saw was him giving one of the greatest Oscar-winning performances of all time. Please, Jake, be grateful. He spared your life, trust me. Keep punching, Mike. There will never be a man like you, a gladiator like you, and a soul like you. Keep punching, champion of champions. I remember once I bumped into him and thought I was hit by a runaway bulldozer. Remember that Mike isn't good with money, like he's actually similar to Chris Chan when it comes to that, so there's an actual chance that was the case.
He had some fun. $600 million.
Where'd most of it go? Because I'm from Connecticut. I know where your house, your old house, 50 Cent's house now, right? Does he still own it?
I have no idea.
But that house, what had movie theaters? What else in it?
Everything.
Was it West Hartford?
Somewhere.
You don't even know. It's like a $50 million. Like, I don't know. It's one of my houses. Who knows? Who gives? Where did most of the money go? Houses or drugs, girls?
Planes, boat. It's stupid. It was fun.
Right. You don't regret any? Do you regret anything?
Yeah, and I didn't pay taxes really at that time.
That'll get you. Yeah.
But they always come back.
But there's some good news. A member of the Saudi royal family has offered Mike Tyson $700 million if he can beat Jake Paul in a rematch, saying, Jake Paul is a joke. I am giving Mike Tyson $700 million if he agrees to fight Jake Paul. This time in a real fight, and wins by KO in a maximum of 3 minutes. Honestly, I don't know what's next for the world of online boxing. But what I do know is that going forward, I think it's safe to say the biggest names in boxing will have started out as content creators prior to moving into the sport. And with more and more influencer boxing events coming up, I think that we're going to be hearing about this for a long time to come. The lolcow trading card game has just gotten a little more advanced. Not in its rules, but now adding in brand new lore for all your favorite cows and scribes. Including yours truly. Adentum is a robotic scribe that spends all his time documenting all the lolcows of the digital and real world. Throughout many years of experience, this has prepared him for anything the lolcows may throw his way. Adentum is also a battle-hardened warrior that has many machinations at his disposal. Since he is the robot overlord, Adentum can construct more robots to do his bidding. The scribes have a powerful ally in this master of machines. The Acronian War is approaching, and Adentum is waiting. If you're interested in getting in on the action, or even want to test your luck by donning one of the Sonichu medallion shirts, check out my affiliate link down below.